Oh, of course, right as I start the stream, I choke on my own spit. Hello, everyone, and welcome to. Well, man, I have waited so long for this game to get a remake. Hell, just even a port to modern consoles. I am so excited to be revisiting Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door with you guys today. I I have so much I just have so much to say about this game. It is my second favorite game of all time after Tales of Symphonia. I would say the first Paper Mario game is kind of tied in this spot as well, just for different reasons, but okay. So I'm just going to take this in. This has got a very. This kind of reminds me of the old school Disney films that opened with the book, you know. I love this cutscene style, kind of leaning into the paper aesthetic, you know. I, as a kid, I was shocked. Like that gallows right there, that's in the dead center of the hub town in this game. And as a kid, I was shocked that, just such a blatant execution imagery was allowed to be in a kid's game, you know? Oh, that looks gorgeous. Oh my god, just look at that. I just realized she's here on holiday. This was on the same console that Mario Sunshine was on. This was just the console for Peach to have a bad time on holiday. Never trust street market vendors, Peach. You should know this. Oh, like the treasure we mentioned earlier. It's Chekhov's foreshadowing. Now, I don't know if we ever find out who this seller here is supposed to be, because we never see them again. But just, this game's 20 years old at this point. Some people, I think, theorize that this is actually supposed to be Beldum. Which I could totally buy. Granted, the necklace she's wearing reminds me of the one Flurry gets. Oh. Okay, so fun fact about this title screen. If you boot this game up for the first time, it's just Mario. And then if you have a save file that has your companions, like that one, they'll just kind of fill out the title screen. So, just for context, I booted up this game because I just wanted to see a few things about it, but I've purposely decided I'm not actually going to play it all that much. But I just couldn't wait just to see, what was what. But let's begin. we're gonna start a new file. And... Hey, Paracarry. So, I actually remember reading online, and this was something I only learned while I was doing the Paper Mario live stream, but in the original GameCube, there are assets in the game for all the original partners, because they all were going to get cameos originally, but in the end, the only one who cameos here is Paracarry. I really like this house, and wait, what the... Oh, shit. Do you see it, the back on that end table? That's a picture of Mario and all his companions. I mean, it might have been, and the graphics were just bad in the original GameCube, but I don't think that picture was there originally. I like that. I really like that. If for no other reason than it's nice to see them. You know, I wonder, because I have heard that this remake adds some stuff. I wonder if it maybe is going to add back the cameos the characters had. Okay, you know, just the noises they're making, that feels very Animal Crossing, like original Animal Crossing, which was, well, at least the original one that was released in America was very GameCube. You went on holiday and you didn't invite us? How rude. Yeah, I debated on if I wanted to voice the characters, and I think I decided against it. Oh. Okay. So, instead of the Mushroom Kingdom like in the first game, our hub world this time is going to be Roguesport. And I like Roguesport, to be honest. I don't know if I like it better than the Mushroom Kingdom, because I really like the Mushroom Kingdom from the first game. But I would say I like it equally to the Mushroom Kingdom. Because it definitely, I think, stands out a bit more. And actually, one thing I do find interesting is that, I guess technically, the way that the map shows it, it almost makes it seem like everywhere we go is technically part of Roguesport, not just the port we go to, but I don't think that's correct. I think Roguesport is just this town. I always loved these bumps. So, the combat in this game, you fight on a stage, actually. We'll get more into that when we actually do combat. So, I always liked that the start of the chapters were curtains opening. Yes? You got it. Cool. Hey, Rogie Wogie. Okay, just... with just the better technology, this just looks like, you know, just like a painted backdrop on paper, and it pops. It's so beautiful. That water is gorgeous. Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. I love just how hard this guy just tries to get us to not leave. Because it's like this place is such a crap hole. Hey, it's appreciated nonetheless, my guy. I love the whole just, we're flipping the page over. Oh, so that is one nice thing about this game versus the first one, because I believe I mentioned... Those save blocks are really... Okay, so when I did kind of plug the game on and like just play the first 20 minutes just to kind of see what the game was like, it was in handheld mode. This is the first time I'm playing it on the, on a TV, and it looks even better. I believe I mentioned in my life... Hey, Lord Crump. I think Lord Crump is kind of like the... What's it? The Junior Troopa, or whatever his name was from the first game. He doesn't fight you as many times as that character, but I like him. Yeah. Also, this is our first Goomba companion of the game. I always have a soft spot for Goombario in the first game, but I think it's Goombella. She's definitely an improvement. Because she has more to her. But anyway, the characters looking like they're made of paper, I believe was more like art style that just kind of made the characters look like they were made of paper, so they just kind of called it Paper Mario incidentally, because if you remember, there wasn't a whole lot of instances or things in the first game itself that really leaned into the fact that everyone was made of paper. But this game, because they very much like, okay, the thing is that Mario was made of paper, we're going to lean into it. So we're going to see a lot more just various aesthetics that lean into... Hello, Kabatsa, Kiyobi... How do I pronounce your name? I don't want to say it incorrectly. But yes, we are indeed at the port. Battle time, Mr. Man. Just find a way to beat this freak of the week, okay? Oh... Crump is more than just a freak of the week. But yeah, there's going to be way more instances of the game being made of paper. And with each subsequent game, I don't know about Sticker Star, haven't played it. Well, I guess not as much. At least not as much that I remember in Super... It's the General of Space. Oh yeah. Of SpaceX, yep. Oh, I like this guy. But, so, as you can see, we're on stage, and all the combat takes place on a stage. And the better you do in combat, the more people you can attract to watch your show. And the more people watch your show, the more benefits you get from combat. We'll get more... The benefits won't be noticeable right away. I don't think you really start seeing them until after you get your first Crystal Star, but... But, see those stylish things I just did? What will happen is that during combat... There'll be certain points, if you press the A button while your characters are attacking or doing something, they can do a stylish move, which ups your appeal to the audience. There is a badge in the game, at least in the original, I'm assuming it's still in this one, called the Timing Tutor, that will actually put exclamation marks on screen to let you know this is when you press A to get the best possible, to get the stylish. But I have played this game so much that... I have the timing. I know exactly when to press it for both the hammer and the jump, so... Yeah. Anyway. Thank you. Beat him in no time. It's so funny to me as a kid, just... I never knew about the guard command in this game. So that's one of the reasons why this game was... Both the first game especially, and a little bit the second game were so impossibly hard, is I didn't know there was a way to reduce damage. I could just gush about the colors in this game all the time. I'm gonna try not to. Yeah. You know, again, having just streamed Super Mario RPG, it is interesting that, again, just so many elements from that game carried over to Paper Mario, but one thing that didn't was traditional experience, and instead they did the star points. I can't say one way or the other which one's better, or if arguably any one of them is better, because they both have merit. Albeit, I think the star points work better for how Paper Mario chose to do its level ups, because in Mario RPG, you had you got 5 characters, each one had their own skill sets and level ups, etc. But in this game, in the Paper Mario games, at least the first 2, the only one who levels up is Mario, and you can just buff your party members through the level up blocks. Actually, that's something I'm kind of curious about. So, unlike the first... So, in the first game, if you recall, there were power-up blocks scattered around the world that you had to find to use on your party members. In this game, instead, what they did is that you could find shine sprites around the world and bring them back to one place and spend them to level up your party members. I have mixed feelings about this change. But I'm kind of curious. So the reason they did Shine Sprites back in the day, because that was the relevant and modern Mario game, because Mario Sunshine had come out just right before this. Oh, okay, so what? See that guy in the back right corner with the spear? Watch those guys. Thanks for the kiss, but... Oh, and then, okay, so then there's those guys that just came out of the back alley there. Sorry, I like this because it does a good job of setting sort of the personality of Rogue Sport.
Oh, yes.
Yep, like the famous guy. Oh, and there we go. So yeah, there's basically... Yeah, they're like... So, those are, I think they're called Piantas. That race was introduced in Mario Sunshine. And they're like mobs. I think the only Piantas in this game are part of like a parody of like Italian mobsters. Again, I think it's Italian. I could be wrong. I apologize if I'm misplacing the racist accents through text. But anyway. But yeah, it just kind of sets the tone in the tone that there's two rival gangs in town. You don't... Only one of them... I mean, okay, you do technically interact with both, but one's more important than... Anyway, that's beside the point. No. That's why we're here, too. Hey, there's a legendary treasure. We're... Anyway. You know, I just want to say... Again, I will always love Goombario from the first game. But... Oh, hey, guy. But... I really like Goombella's design here. I like that she's got her little tuft of hair. I like that it's... Looks like she's wearing a hard hat with a light on it. I'm pretty sure that's what that's supposed to be. I like her scarf. Because again, Goombario was basically just a smaller Goomba with a blue hat on. Quite frankly, there was nothing wrong with that design. It's just, from a personality standpoint, he was a hair bit minimalistic. Which again, not a problem. I know I'm going to be comparing the companions in the first game to the ones in this game a lot, and you know, in the case of the Goomba character, the Koopa character, it's kind of hard not to, since they do fill a lot of the same roles, but I do want to be clear that the companions in the first game are something that I do like a hair better as a whole, and what I mean by that is you get more companions in the first game, and I like some of the abilities the companions in the first game have over these ones, from a mechanical standpoint. That being said, the characterization of the companions in the second game are better as a whole. Because again, it's a 20-year-old game, I don't really feel spoiling too much, because like, for example, Vivian is my favorite companion out of any Paper Mario game ever. And I think only Bobberdy from Origami King, I mean, I know that he wasn't a traditional companion, but I digress, got close to how much I love Vivian. Albeit for different reason. I think his name was Bobberdy, or maybe Bobberdy's the Bob-omb in this game. I don't know, just the Bob-omb from Origami King. Cool. Goombella. So yeah, she fills a lot of the same function because she's got the tattle ability. Anyway, I can't skip this, I don't think. Yeah. Because there are less companions in this game. At least, I remember there being less companions. That's also partially because of a new mechanic they add to this game in order to up Mario's abilities of being paper. And honestly, I think that was for the best. Because again, don't get me wrong, I just went on saying I liked that the first game had more companions, and I do still technically stand by that. Because, hey, we got great companions like Watt, Parakarry, Spike, or Lacuster, whatever. But then we also got characters like Sushi, who really were just there for the one level and then were arguably not the best choice to use after that. Okay, so see this back here? She is this game's equivalent of Tasty. She's our cook character, but she's much more surly. Phrase. You tear another step, don't come... Yeah, I know, I'm randomly reading that. I'm probably going to just go in and out of that. Come this way. I'm complete turned by an enemy and made me leave my contact line. So, alright, so now don't you dare move. I'm just initiating this now just so I can take care of it, so I don't really have to wait on it later. But yeah, she's... So no matter what you do, you step on her contact lens. Idiots, step like... Anyway, but yeah, so... Yeah, like I said, she's way more surly than Tasty from the first game. I don't remember. Has she said her name out loud? Yeah. So she's kind of used as a way to just kind of block progression to that side of the map. Yep. Hey, do you by chance... Oh, that's cool. They actually display how many items I have in my bag, so I know... Yeah, that was something that was not in the first two Paper Mario games, letting you know how many... There wasn't really a quick way of checking what you had in your pockets. Actually, something else that just occurred to me is when this game first came out, you basically had like a handheld PC device that you could use to email people. Well, in the first game, in the original game, it was a DS, because again, the DS was new at the time. I'm wondering what it's going to be in this game. So, as a kid, for the longest time, so we just got robbed, or pickpocketed, whatever. I thought that basically you lost the money there and it was a wash. It wasn't until years later, and that's just because as a kid, I'm just like, you go, you go. It's like you don't start side questing or going off the beaten path until later in the game, right? But I found out within the last 10 years or so that, and you have to do this kind of immediately because this will he'll only be here in the prologue, or at the very least, the idea is that if you don't find him in the prologue, he's already spent all the money he's stolen. So you can get your money back. But, like, I remember, like, especially in the first Paper Mario game, I actually struggled to find how to get to Koopa Village because I wasn't used to the whole 2.5D thing. And, I mean, heck, this game's basically 3D, but... Like, I just didn't think to look for... This is a better example. If it wasn't for my older brother showing me this, I might not have registered that that was even there. There's not a whole lot to do back here, but I do want to just show you this guy. As he will, we'll need to come talk to this guy later to advance the story. Okay, no, it is still going to be Shine Sprites. Not that I have an issue with that change, but it also would have been interesting if they had updated it to be the moons from, Odyssey. Yeah, I do like that they kind of bring... I mean, yes, it's a different character whose name is spelled, I think, almost the exact same way, but it's kind of nice. So, yeah, you have to come here. You got to bring the Shine Sprites you collect here to level up your party. Now, as I said, I have very mixed feelings about this. On the one hand, I think it's a perfectly fine mechanic. And if anything, it allows them to spread the Shine Sprites out around the game more, so you can collect them and then come back when you're ready to use them. On the other hand, one of the levels, you don't get a companion until how do I put this? So there's another island level in this game, and you get a brand new companion on that island, but because the level you're shipwrecked on the island, you can't upgrade the companion to be at the same level as the rest of your party members until after you completely beat the chapter. It's not the end of the world, but it is a tad frustrating. so yeah, Goombella... Sorry, I accidentally clicked A a little too quickly. But yeah, so Goombella is an archaeological student who was in this professor's class a year ago. Yep, so we got a certified... So, there is kind of a running joke in this game. It kind of starts here with the professor not knowing who Mario is. And, words. Him not knowing who Mario is, and or people just constantly getting Mario's name wrong in this game. Okay, the animations on the professor here are way more vibrant. Because, like, I couldn't quite tell, but it looked like he almost, like, folded over a little while ago when he got excited. That was not... Him rolling up like that wasn't a thing in the original game. At least I don't think it was. Oh, it's totally an empty chest, guys. Crystal Stars. So the Crystal Stars are this game's equivalent to the Star Spirits. Now, I remember as a kid being blown away by what the Crystal Stars looked like, since they were more 3D models up against the more, you know, flat paper sprites of this game. Yeah. Don't, Oh, jeez, that animation is great with his eyebrows popping off like that. I really do not remember him being this expressive originally, so yeah, that was definitely... Oh, that's so good. Did we hold it up in front of the 1,000-year door and say, by the power of Grayskull? It's a fantastic visual. Yeah. Oh, just real quick. So over here is the second, is kind of where the other gang hangs out. So to get past this guy, we either need to pay him off or take him in a fight. He's a little high level right now, so we're not going to take him in the fight. Also, because he has his spear, no, I don't need to practice the action commands. Because he's holding his spear, you can't jump on him, so I'm going to need to wait until I get a partner other than Goombella to take a crack at the fight, because otherwise she's not going to be able to contribute whatsoever. Now, I do remember, because if you guys watched my live stream of the first one, I basically spent almost all my level up points on badge power, because just spamming badges was really just one of the best ways to make yourself strong in the original game. I don't necessarily know if I'm going to do that as much, because there aren't as many really good badges. Well, no, there are really good badges in this game, but they're a lot harder to get. So, one other thing that also makes me sad about this game versus the first one is Chuck Quizmo's not in it, so it's harder to, you know, build up star points. I'm good, thank you, though. So the ruins down here is basically what was left of the town from that storybook that we read out of it before we loaded up, got to the loading screen, you know? Okay, I don't know why, but that was really damn funny. Just, it's like, oh, you think you're so cool because you get clean air and get to sit in the sun. Oh, but at the same time, I've seen plenty of dystopian stories about people who aren't allowed on the surface or whatnot, so... Nobody starts a fight with... I mean, aren't you the ones technically starting the fight? Also, I love... Because I don't remember if this was a thing in the original game, but I kind of like how the backgrounds are popping up kind of like a pop-up book or unfolding out of cardboard or paper. I also like these kind of aggressive animations the Goombas are in. Since, again, in the original game, it was more... They just kind of stood there idly. I'm not the best. Like, I don't use Goombella enough. I don't have her action commands memorized, sadly. So yeah, you'll notice one big difference from this game compared to the first game, is that in the first game, Mario was the only one who had, messed up the stylish there, but whatever. Mario was the only one who had help. And how the partners worked is that if there were very few enemies that could target them, but if they did get hurt in any way, shape, or form, they usually would get stunned for 1 or 2 rounds. I think I prefer this better. Because on the one hand, theoretically, all your partners could get KO'd, and then you'd be screwed without anyone to help you fight. It does mean that if a partner gets KO'd, you just quickly swap them out for another partner, and you go from there. Because, in my experience, it's very unlikely, if not borderline impossible, for your partners to get KO, to all get wiped out before Mario's HP hits 0 as well. Shit, I love the way those... So... Those kind of like 2 lights in the background that look like they're coming from houses, you can get to those. Those are actual houses, and we will visit them later in the game once I get more abilities that improve my ability to explore. Oh my gosh, those blocks down there look so good. Yeah, and the strike first mechanic is thankfully back. So, another new mechanic in this game is, you know, in the first game, when you had Goombario use Tattle, it just went off without a hitch. But now, in this game, everything that you do it's got its own commands to it. So there's a chance to pass or fail on anything. Again, you could view that as either a good or a bad thing. Personally, well, it can be frustrating to fail when you're trying to do something simple like just Tattle. It adds an extra level of engagement for the player, so I think it's a net gain having it. Now, so this is also a new mechanic from the first game, is that the enemies will sometimes be carrying items, like you saw right there. I don't remember, like, I really don't think if you defeat them in combat, they will drop the items. But I think the only way for you to get the items is later in the game. There is a secret companion you can get. Like, you have to do a side quest to get her, named Miss Mouse. She has an ability called Thief, which, as the name suggests, it lets her steal items off enemies you defeat. But the other thing it does is that, especially since, you know, like that Goomba was holding a mushroom, if I hadn't killed the Goomba, it could have potentially used the mushroom to heal itself or another enemy in combat. Also, just that stage 4 is awesome. Oh, one other awesome gimmick about this, you know, basically being on a stage and those basically looking like just thin, cheap sets. If you do enough dynamic actions in combat, you can actually cause the set to collapse, dealing damage. So, so this is kind of another instance of them taking advantage of the fact that we're made of paper. I can't do it yet, but you can see there's like paper that's folded up against the wall. I'm later going to get the ability to remove that to reveal secrets. Like I said, I don't have access to it at this point, but... Oh yeah, this was something that just confused me as a kid, because I saw that, I'm like, well, oh my gosh. The detailing on those spinny dudes, that's really good. I kept being like, well, why would they show me something like that if I couldn't get it yet? But it's like, well, it's world building / consistency building, because that's something for the next chapter. So you're not going to be able to interact with it just yet, but you will in the next chapter. But yeah, so badge power is still, like, I never finished this thought. It's still ridiculously important in this game, but it's not as urgent to instantly build it up like it was in the first game. And that's just due to the fact that a lot of the really good badges are not as easy to get right away like they could be in the first game. Like, if I remember correctly, I think Peekaboo... Like, instead of having Peekaboo and Zap Tap be accessible through the Star Piece trading, I don't remember where Peekaboo is off the top of my... Peekaboo could still be Star Piece trading. I don't remember off the top of my head. Again, I've played this game a shit ton, and I don't remember where that is. But Zap Tap, you only get access to Zap Tap in the 100 Rooms trials. I mean, hell... As a kid, you know, I never liked doing the 100 Rooms trials in either game, so I just kind of ignored it, because that much combat gave me anxiety back when, you know, I was bad at it. I didn't know about the guard mechanic, so that was stupid. So I actually thought Zap Tap was completely omitted from this game. But no, it's in there. It's pretty deep in, so you can't really get access to it till you're much, much higher level. So you can't abuse it from, like, the 3rd level going on like you could in the first game, but... Yep, I know it's kind of different than what I just did, but yeah, again, there's going to be way more little touches to emphasize the fact that we are in a world made of paper. Like I said, I don't remember how much of it is in Super Paper Mario because I've only ever tried that game once. Never owned it. We rented it. I didn't care for it. Never beat it. So these black keys and these chests are going to be another thing that's part of this game. And I fucking love these things.
Hey, you, can you hear me? Can't? That means you're the hero of legend. I'm giving this one a voice because I think these dialogues are funny. Only the great hero of legend can hear my voice. Yeah, everyone else, nothing. See, long ago, an evil spirit cast a curse on me, locking me in this chest. It was a real drag. I've been here ever since, waiting a long, long time for the hero to come by. So yeah, anyway, big guy, what brings a hero like you to a place like this?
Mario, a word with you. I'm not exactly confident that we can trust this chest. I think it may be the best not to mention that we're looking for crystal stars. Ugh, little brat. I just said it out loud. What's wrong with me?
Oh, yeah, searching for the crystal stars, are you now? So, you really are a hero. Well, you're definitely gonna need my help if you're gonna get those bad boys. So the first thing you should look for is a key to this chest. Use it to let me out, definitely.
Not sure how this chest guy would know anything about crystal stars, but what do you think we ought to do?
Well, I know my vote goes to you finding that key. I'm sure it's around here somewhere. That's what the key looks like, by the way. Come on. Being stuck in a box is no picnic. I'm counting on you, a great legendary hero. Well, what? You already found the key? Oh man, I owe you big. Oh, come on, don't taunt me. Hurry up and open it.
Sorry, I had to just say it once.
Wahahaha, you brought the key, yes. Oh, I owe you a big one.
Oh, there's an actual animation of him unlocking the door.
Yes, thank you. Ha! Thank nothing. Wee-hee! Fools!
Oh boy, did you fall for it? I burned you. What do you think I was gonna help you? Instead, I'm gonna spread a little suffering. I haven't turned in that stupid box. Yeah, sorry, but those are the breaks. Gonna cast an evil, terrible curse upon you. Wuggly, wuggly, woo, you're cursed.
Okay, I like that. Because in the original game, it just was like a flashing light, and then you were cursed, but oh, I like getting struck by lightning. That's fun.
Enjoy that curse, sucker. You got what you deserve. Want to hear about this sweet curse I just dropped? Then listen well. From now on, if you press Y in certain areas, you'll turn into a paper airplane. Trembling yet, suffer the rest of your days under my terrible curse. I can't help but chortle, you're doomed. This curse is pretty rough, I guess, so I suppose I owe you an explanation.
Ready? Okay. No, I'm done. I'm done with that.
Ready if you stand on that airplane like... He's on the airplane panel like this one, the floor will start to glow.
Overkill, but okay.
Yeah, now you're on the panel, you have to press the Y, and then bam, you're a paper plane. You control a tiny paper plane, shelf by tilting forward and back. You reach the tier right, blah, blah, blah. However, if you keep tilting it too much, you'll slow down and start to fall back. Once you start to rise, stop tilting, timing is key right now, and suffer the total aerodynamic humiliation.
Okay, I got it, Mr. Bad Guy.
When you had enough airplane shame, press B to deplane back to... So to be honest, you fully understand the peril this curse bestowed upon you.
So yeah, these are the abilities I mentioned. There are less companions in the, that was that guy's beef. So there are less companions in the game that are used to help you traverse because they give Mario a bunch of these abilities that let him fold into, just take advantage of the fact that we're made of paper. And again, while I like having the larger companion numbers because I'm a companion for having, or I'm a whore for having lots of companions, I think this was the right decision. Because again, if for no other reason, yep, there's the 1,000-year door. If for no other reason, then all of our upgrades are presented as like a demonic being cursing Mario with some terrible curse or whatever, even though they're all beneficial abilities, and they're highly situational, so it's not something that Mario's going to suffer from a lot, but yeah, it gives Mario more utility for exploration on his own without strictly being reliant on his companions. Also, I love the visuals of this right here, and this is a mechanic you're either going to love or you're going to hate, but anyway. Okay. So, and I absolutely love this. Oh, that's new. Oh my God. Oh, That was so cool. I don't know if I completely prefer that to the animations in the original game, but again, it feels more paper-like having them fold out like that. But yeah, so this is how you find out where you go next in this game. Is you come back here, and the Thousand-Year Door infuses information into the map. Wait, I learned what? And it lets you know where to go next. Now again, you're gonna love or hate. Now this is something you're gonna love or hate, because on the one hand, it's really cool to, come here and see how the map gets filled out in the adventure. On the other hand, it can be frustrating to have to constantly be coming back to the same place after each dungeon. Now, I mean, it's an easily accessible place, so it's not the end of the world, but again, let's be honest, one of the main reasons why the first Assassin's Creed game was heavily criticized is because you had to constantly be going back to the one place after each mission and then going out again. This game is not as bad as the first Assassin's Creed game due to the simple fact that, well, it's not as pseudo-open world as the first Assassin's Creed game. I say pseudo-open world because the first Assassin's Creed game didn't feel truly open world. It was just big. So yeah, so from one of the things I did read online in anticipation of this game's release, they added a warp pipe room like was in the first game to make tracking a lot easier. However, that is one thing. I like that little front-facing view of Paper Princess Peach. But one thing, what's the word I'm looking for? But one thing this game does compared to the first game is that everything is kind of accessed more easily. Like, there's a lot more quick access from the hub town. So the fast travel warp block tubes to certain places wasn't as necessary in this game. Still, I'm all for anything that eases backtracking. Because, again, backtracking... Oh. No, I'm good. So, yeah. So, the special moves in this game are the equivalent of the star powers in the first game. What's the word I'm looking for? It's dangerous to go alone. Take this with you. It's just unlike the first game where you didn't get any special moves until after you get the first Star Spirit. We get access to one right away. I think this one's called Sweet Treat. I think that's one we get right away. It's the basic, like, minimal recovery move. I will definitely use it and I'll show you. But, like, again, unlike the first game, yeah, Sweet Treat. Where, you know, you used a star power and just went off. All the star power... Hi, who are you? I don't remember you from the original game. I think you're new. No, you are. You're the Battle Master that I heard was added to this game. I honestly, yeah, let me confirm this. Okay, you didn't really... No, I think I'm good. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, I just want to double check. There's nothing I can do. I don't think the contact lens is like, I really don't think the contact lens is going to come in until after I beat the first dungeon. Actually, real quick. Nope. Huh. So it doesn't have my... Yep. So in the original game, under useful items, it would have my DS stand-in that was used for emails. So I'm guessing it's either they're not including it as an item, or I'm going to get it later, or whatever. I'm curious to see what happens. All right. Let's go. I will say, sadly, this game does feel a bit derivative of the first game in some aspects, because, you know, the first, you get a Goomba as your first companion, then you need to go to like a nice flowery area to lead to the first dungeon, and when you get there, there's going to be a village of Koopas. So again, I love this game, and then, heck, there's even an island level. Yeah, so did you see the stylish points went up to my special meter? So yeah, the more stylish points I get, the faster that meter refills after I've used it. So that's why you do want to get good at the stylish points, or at being stylish. But it doesn't ruin the game. It is just something that it's like, okay. Much like with, you know, when I stream Tales of Symphonia, it's like, I want to look at these games objectively and acknowledge their shortcomings, because... Oh, I guess I don't need to come this way first, but I'm going to. I don't remember the blooper boss fights being as prevalent in this game as they were in the first, but here's the first... Actually, I don't remember if there's more than one blooper boss fight in this game, or if it's just the one. I also don't remember... I don't remember if in the original game... yeah, I don't remember getting the translation on what the blooper was saying. Now again, it could be, and I just don't remember, because, well, I have played this game a lot. This is just a minor part of the game, you know? Yeah, I definitely don't remember this thing actually talking to us like that. I'm the best. Okay, so yeah, if you do enough consistent good things, you'll get the ability to do a bingo. What you're trying to match will depend on the moves you do. But like, if I get this... Okay, no, I failed. But, you know, each one, bingo does a different thing. If you get 3 mushrooms, it fully restores your HP. 3 flowers, flower power. 3 stars, 3 star power. But, oh, slow-mo finish. That's cool. But if you're lucky enough to get the shine sprites like there and successfully land a bingo, it restores everything. The other benefit is if you get a bingo, it instantly fills the audience to max capacity. Okay, that's right. That's what fighting Blooper gets us. It's not just the optional... Oh, that's pretty. Having, like, this warp pipe be all grassy, I like that. I like that a lot. Here we go again with the curtains swinging open to Chapter 1, Castle and Dragon. Petal Meadows. Let's go on an aperture. I really can't get over how these save blocks look. They look... Oh, they look so good. Bum, bum, bum. Oh, I love the shock reactions those two have. Oh, wow. Oh, that's cool. It's like in the original game, when Hooktail flew over like that, when we saw him, it was just kind of a flat little drawing flying up. But that just showed us the in-game model flying. That's cool. And some good consistency, you know? So yeah, that's actually the boss of this first stage. That's Hooktail. And he's a fun boss fight, definitely. And Hooktail has one of the cooler... So, most of the villains don't interact with the audience members in the boss fights. He's one of the few that does, and it does it in a pretty fun way. So, Hooktail is a very enjoyably memorable first boss fight. I don't know, well, okay, I guess technically the first boss fight in the first Paper Mario was Goomba King, but he was the boss in the prologue. We didn't really have a boss battle in the prologue of this game, so I'm going to compare Hooktail to the Koopa Bros, not King Goomba. I can't decide who I actually like better, the Koopa Bros or Hooktail, because Hooktail is definitely more visually cool, but the Koopa Bros are just enjoyably silly. So, I'm going to have to, again, I'm going to be needlessly comparing these two games, especially in the earlier stages where they're a lot more similar to each other. But I'm going to have to say it's a tie between the Koopa Bros and Hooktail in terms of which one I like better as a first boss fight. Right. I'm gonna have to come back later. Oh shit. So yeah, if you do something embarrassing like that, you will actually lose audience members. Because it's like, hey, I'm not paying money to, you know, watch some guy just get snot beat out of him. This ain't a Jackass movie. Hello, Map Energy Crystal, or Magic Energy Crystal. I don't know why I said map. I apologize about that. Welcome to my corner of happiness, shall we say. Oh, oh, right. Yeah, sorry for the delay. So, I should just let you know there is about a 15-second delay. I don't know why. It didn't used to be that big of a delay from me, you know, recording it to getting it for you actually hearing it. So if there's a delay in me responding, that's why. I do apologize. Or I'm getting sucked up in the moment and I'm not looking down at the chat. So my apologies. I've tried fixing the delay, but me and Abby, we just don't know how to fix it at this point. Oh yeah, that's right. The audience also fills up considerably when you level up. It's not like a full fill the room like it is with a bingo, but it is a way to, you know, if you're struggling to perform well enough in combat to, you know, draw the crowds in just regularly, you can be like, okay, I can just wait for my next level up to just bring everyone here in droves. Yeah, yes indeed. There we go. Okay, that was cool with it just sort of flipping out. Oh man! Oh shit! Oh, I am just... Heaven. I'm in... Oh yeah, and then it builds like one of those old flip books. Oh man, I love it so much. I mean, that again, that was always a mechanic in the first game, but oh man, just the creativity that this game had, especially back in 2004 when the original game came out, like there just was. Oh man, there's just not this kind of creativity, at least not that I had ever seen in a video game, and or there just weren't video games that had like the rendering power to do cool visuals like that until the GameCube era, you know? Because yeah, sure, we started getting FMV on the PlayStation and, you know, other stuff like that, but the GameCube was really when things really started to look less. Okay, so here's Petalburg. Like I said, it's kind of this game's stand-in for Koopa Village. I do find Petalburg to be a little more forgettable, sadly, because unlike Koopa Village, when you first show up, there's the fuzzy pandemic. This is just kind of a pit stop on the way to Apertures. Yes, a giant dangerous dragon would not help tourism much, I don't think. You know, I kind of can't help but feel that calling him Green Boots is kind of rude. I can't outright say it's offensive, but it's just kind of rude. That's kind of like, you know, calling someone Four Eyes, you know, for wearing glasses, you know? And then again, Four Eyes is more insulting because people who need glasses can't help it, whereas that's clearly a fashion choice with the green shoes. But at the same time, I digress. So, let's see. I remember I lost my shit as a kid. Yep, I'll take the rest. What's on your mind, Magic Energy Crystal? But I lost my mind as a kid because I'm like, what? But staying at the end in the first game was free. Why do I have to pay money? Whereas now I'm like, it's not that much money. And yeah, it's an RPG. Spending money to rest at the end is just kind of accepted and expected. Oh, you don't know? Okay, fair enough. That's totally fair. So, this guy, if you remember my stream of the first game, you know, this is an old bulb. They were creatures from the flower fields who went off into the world to, you know, spread flowers. They're just here as a visual cameo. There's nothing like that. So, and then this guy... I think this guy's just a joke character, honestly. I think just the idea is that he'll just show up in the background. Okay, cool. And he just kind of follows you around, in a sense. I believe the idea is he's like a tourist, checking out the different areas in the game. So he's just kind of there for just a little, you know, funny chit-chat, if you know what I mean. And then, so this is a character I didn't quite pick up. I didn't notice was always there when I was a kid until I beat my first playthrough. But you will also see this guy showing up wherever you go to. Definitely talk to him anytime he shows up. Because, yeah, he initially just seems like a random Bob-omb. Heck, oh yeah. So remember this guy, he's like a big Peach fanboy. There's a joke about this guy later in the game. But yeah, General White comes back into the story at the very end of the game. But he's kind of just like a nice bit of visual cameo, visual storytelling in the background. But again, in a first playthrough, it'd probably go over your head, especially if you played this game as young as I was. Because again, as a kid, I'm just like, what do I need to do to story? I don't care about, I don't want to talk to these people. I just want to hammer. Hammer time. Koopy Koo, nice to meet. I've never liked that name for some reason. Like, don't ask why. I don't know. It's just, for whatever reason, the name Koopa Koo, I always thought was stupid, and it annoyed me. Honestly, as an adult, I can't really pick out anything wrong with the name Koopa Koo. Because, honestly, it's perfectly fine. Hello, Shadow Government. Welcome to my corner of the internet. Oh, okay, those pictures are on a shelf are cute. Oh, you don't know Magic Energy Crystal? Yeah, again, I don't know either. No life? Well, that's unfortunate. Everyone needs to have a little good life every once in a while. It's that. Like I said, so this is, I think, possibly the official beginning of the mispronouncing of Mario joke. Yeah, no, I hear ya. Now, I don't remember which comedian it was, but he shared a story about how he had a friend who, anytime that they came over to a party, they'd always steal the antique photos. Because it's like, it's the one thing that can't be replaced. I'm like, that is so heartless. Because I know for the fact that my mom would be destroyed if someone stole the, you know, the pictures of her grandparents. Because there's so few of them. Because, you know, photography was expensive. I mean, it still technically is expensive, but you know what I mean. I didn't say that. Yeah, I know that the whole joke of the old man being hard of hearing is, I mean, it's nothing new, but it's still funny. It makes me laugh. So yeah, he calls us Murphy. It's definitely not the funniest name that we get called, but it's pretty funny. Sunstone and Moonstone. I can get me a Nidoqueen and a Blossom. I know there are probably other Pokemon I'd rather have that use a Sunstone, but I don't remember who all uses Sunstones besides Blossom and Sunkern. I think Lilligant uses a Sunstone, and I like... Everyone meet Coops. Wait, Hooktail's a she? I actually was not aware of Hooktail's pronouns. I don't ever remember them referring to Hooktail. Okay, that's also a nice touch. Like, I really don't remember a lot of these pictures being in the original game, and if they are, they weren't... I just couldn't tell what they were due to the limited graphics of the GameCube. But again, that's fun. Again, if for no other reason than it's really cool to see. Well, because again, it's a 20-year-old game. I don't feel as bad about spoiling stuff. But Koops is going to end up he's going to be our Koopa companion for the game. And he joins you because his dad went to confront Hooktail and then disappeared. So it's kind of nice seeing, like, just a picture of, oh, here we go. Yeah, it's kind of a nice way to just sort of foreshadow what he looks like, you know? Anyway. What's up, Coops? Oh, poor guy's shy. I remember as a kid, I really didn't like Coops very much. Just because I thought he was a downgrade from Cooper in the first game. Because I'm like, Cooper was cooler because he had a blue shell instead of your standard green shell, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, it would have been cool if Coops had a unique shell color too. It was also like, ugh, Coops is a dork. He's not as cool as Cooper, but again, now as an adult, I'm like, that Cooper was kind of one note. I have nothing against Cooper. In fact, dare I say, I genuinely like Cooper. But yeah, he was a little one note. Whereas Coops, because he's such a panicky dork, is a much more nuanced character. Or at the very least, again, he's a more layered character. There's more to him. So, I've got no complaints with Coops as an adult. I mean, heck, I had no complaints with Coops even. Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't terribly worried about him using that since they've got so little HP anyway. Yep. Coops definitely deserves those emojis if those were for him. Yeah, I definitely don't envy, you know, being a creature like a Koopa who's just, you know, like one trip away from being stuck on your back for, well, yeah, I just don't envy turtles because they've got a similar issue. Alright, who's in the bush? I don't remember this. A Koopa's in the bush. I mean, I guess it makes sense. Actually, now that I think about it, it doesn't make sense. Why are we fighting so many... Oh, you're actually giving a proper tutorial to the... So yeah, this is another benefit of the audience, is they'll actually interact with you. By the way, going to Tampa today. Oh, that sounds like... Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Because if you're going to Tampa and that's something you're looking forward to, congratulations, have fun. If it's not... Anyway, yeah. So if you accidentally chase away someone who's going to throw you at a positive item, that's another way to accidentally lose. Wait. Why do I want to attack with my hammer? I want to knock this guy on his side. Oh, I'm trying to trigger that. You're welcome. Okay. That is interesting. So there was not a tutorial on stuff like that in the original game. It was just kind of a figure it out thing. And it's one of those things that I'm kind of split on, if you know what I mean. So on the one hand, knowing what everything in the theater did would have been helpful, since, I mean, again, as a kid, I didn't pick up on the fact that the audience could throw stuff at me until it was too late. But on the other hand, there is the argument to be made that over-tutorializing things slows the game down and doesn't respect the player's intelligence. That being said, I'm dumb as bricks, so I'm like, you can disrespect my intelligence all you want, just don't stick me in tutorials for hours on end. And we will be hunky-dory. It still cracks me up so much as an adult, just how much difficulty that this game gave me as a kid. Because these games aren't hard if you know what you're doing in combat. But again, being a kid and playing it as young, I have struggled with reading my entire life. Like, I have like a diagnosed reading disorder. And it does make it difficult to retain information that's purely read. So, especially when I was much younger, I mean, it's even problematic as an adult, trying to remember information that... I always hate it when my boss is like, hey, just read the instructions and figure it out. Nope, want to let that happen? Sweet. It's like, just read the instructions and figure it out. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to retain the information, because if I don't have context for what it's talking about, it's not going to make sense to me. And sadly, it's just gotten worse as the older I've gotten. Anyway, but again, because of that reading disability, I kept saying disorder, I meant disability. Instructions about how stuff like that worked didn't always register. Got 10 star pieces! Ha freaking za! Kaloo Kalay! The way is shot. It was made by those who are dead, but Mario beat them with a hammer and opened the way and allowed us to continue. The hitbox of coming in contact with the enemies is surprisingly wide. So when it's like, they shouldn't engage combat, I barely touched him, right? I'm like, no, you touched him, so it's time to kick ass and smoke grass. And by smoke grass, I mean, you know, we're gonna fight some grass enemies later in the game. Let's set them on fire. Oh, by the way, just for anyone who doesn't know, I currently have a poll going for Edgelord right now. Again, I know I'm starting this poll early because I still have most of Edgelord's current game to get through. But due to the fact that, you know, some of the games are going to be Final Fantasy, Pokemon, or Baldur's Gate 3, depending on which one, if any of those ones win, I'm going to need to do a number of other polls as well for things like what race, what class, stuff like that. Hell, so that poll is going to be available for probably another 12 hours or so, just for the rest of the day. So if you guys want to vote on which game you want Edgelord to play, you know, to live through next, there is a link to that in our community tab. I think as of this morning, there was still a 3-way tie between the games in the lead. So yeah, if you guys want to go over there and, you know, cast your vote on which game you'd like to see, you know, possibly break that tie. Yeah, if you haven't done so already, I would check that out. Because once that, like I said, depending on which wins, because, like, if, say, for example, Metroid Prime or The Division wins, there's probably not going to be any more polls until, you know, I'm actually ready to do the next game, due to just... But, again, if Baldur's Gate 3 wins, just as an example, I'll need to poll you guys, what race should I play? What class should I play? Who should I romance? Should I be... How should... Let's see, damn. There's one person here, and there's one person here, and it's me. Yep. Yeah, my streams are usually... That's what I figured. But that's okay. Yeah. Honestly, I usually don't get more... I think, like, a big stream for me is... Oh, right, I'm supposed to use the POW block I picked up. Right. I forgot about that. Yeah, my streams, for the most part, like, I think the most I've ever had in one stream was 7. Yep, there's 3. And honestly, in a way, I kind of actually prefer keeping the stream small, because that way I can have a more direct conversation with the people who are here, you know? Like, I can't imagine what it must be like for, like, the massive internet you know, people who've got millions of subscribers, so they have thousands of people tuning into their live streams, because it would be nearly impossible for your comments to actually get read, and there'd be little to no engagement with the YouTuber. I mean, don't get me wrong, I am definitely not on the same level as some of those YouTubers by any means, but I don't remember where I was going with this. But point is, I'm always happy to just have 1 or 2 people here. It's always nice to just... Okay, cool. You do still have the parry ability in this game. It's always nice to have someone to talk to, bounce ideas off of, or just ask for people's opinions, you know? Because we're here just to have good vibes and share fun games with each other. Peace out, brother. Frick, I love the music in this game so much. Like, honestly, if it wasn't for the fact that, you know, Final Fantasy's victory music just has a better bass line that's easier to remember, this game would be the victory music that I'd always kind of hum to myself whenever I beat, you know, won a fight in anything, you know? You know, a game I did consider streaming at one point was Final Fantasy 15, because honestly, hello, Jaden Lime. How are you? How are you on this fine day? What brings you to... You know, it doesn't matter what brings you here. You're here, and I'm happy to see you. But I always really liked that there was a chance in Final Fantasy 15 that the character Prompto would just hum the classic Final Fantasy victory theme. It was dumb, it was simple, and it was full of charm, and I liked it. Yeah, okay, so this was another thing that I lost my shit as a kid. You know, just again, much like the inns now costing money, I'm like, why are you charging me money for the heal blocks? And I felt especially gypped with them charging me for the heal blocks because the heal blocks don't restore your special gauge. Now, honestly, that's not a big deal because if you really, let's see, is this new Mario game? It is tech. This version is new. It was released, I think, just 2 days ago at the time of this stream. But it is a remake of a 20-year-old game. But this game, in my opinion, it's the best Mario RPG ever made. It's a remake of my second favorite Mario, or my second favorite game. Like, not even just Mario game. This is my second favorite game of all time. And it is gorgeous. So, yes. It is technically a new Mario game. Sorry, we're not playing Pokemon. I'm not after Sun and Moon right now. Terrible, I mean awful. I mean, okay, terrible or awful are subjective as to which one's worse, but okay. Time for comedy! Puzzles! Thank you for the applause emojis. Hey, Chuck Quizmo's not in the game, so we had to do something with this set.
Hey, hey, it's that time again! Welcome to everyone, the 65th Trivia Quiz-Off! If you're correctly answer 5 of the following questions, you'll win, but get 3 wrong and you will suffer. Now, for the first question, what is hidden in Schwonk's Fortress? Sun and Moonstones, is that your real answer? Are you sure? Oh, thank you for more applause emojis. Oh, that is correct. The question was too easy, but it's only gonna get harder from here. Mucho grande harder. So prepare thyself, I guess.
I kind of went from speaking, you know, Spanish to whatever.
On to question number 2. What do 1 mushroom and 1 fireflower cost at the shop in Petalburg in total?
Let me think. I'm pretty sure. I think it's either 12 or 8 coins. I don't remember. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it. Because I'm pretty sure the mushroom is. Yes, because yeah, the mushroom is 5 coins.
That is correct, mundo. That question was too easy. I'm going to get. I sound like a broken record with how many times I say that. So prepare thyself. Moving on, question 3. What's the name of the mayor of Petalburg?
You know what? I don't remember. I'm gonna go with Bertle. Nope. Yeah, I didn't feel confident with that one, but none of them felt right. Sorry, I don't remember his name. I just remembered him as calling us Murphy. Okay, I feel it's a bit of a loaded question because there are 7 crystal stars. Am I still gonna get credit if I answer, you know, if I were to say where another crystal star was, but it wasn't the one you were looking for, like, right now? Yeah, I know, oh man, yeah. Would that still count? Because I feel like you're kind of trapping me if the only acceptable answer is, where specifically the current crystal star was, you know? Yeah, I'm sure. Oh, but it can be true, because I can count to 4. 1, 3, 5. Sorry, it kind of threw me since atypically I feel Koopa Troopas refer to the henchmen specifically, not the species. Because I thought the species was just called Koopas, and Koopa Troopas were the enemies you fight. But I guess they're all just called Koopa Troopas? I don't know. Yep. Yep, you gotta follow the rules because you're lawful stupid like that. Okay. This is multi-bounce. I don't know if I've got the badge power for this. I do. I need to up my badge power next level up. I know I don't start really... Oh, fuzzies. I know I don't really start getting the good badges until later, but it's better to periodically upgrade your badge power so you're ready for them, you know? I've always liked the design of the fuzzies. They can be annoying to fight, though, but I don't care. I like the designs. Well, then again, regular fuzzies ain't bad. It's the jungle fuzzies that make you question your life decisions. Or else the definition of, you know, kissing you to death. See, parents, this is why it's bad to smother your children with affection. It is so hard to get the timing right on these things. What the? Yes, please. I also am glad that they call more attention to the fact that someone's about to throw something to you. Because, you know how it kind of pauses and then it still gives me a moment to act? If I did actually act there, I wouldn't get the item because it would just land on the floor and I'd be too busy in an action to pick it up. And again, in the original game, it was very easy to overlook that because it, outside of like a button flashing next to Mario and maybe visually seeing what's out in the audience, Ian, it was very easy to miss it. So like, as a kid, I almost never got any of the beneficial items from the audience members because I just kept playing because I didn't realize I needed to wait to catch the item. Right, I can't ground pound yet. You know what? I don't want to get crabs. So I'm just, or maybe mono. Maybe the joke would be better if I said I don't want to get mono. So I'm just gonna barbecue the, you know. I think I just might have made this place smell like burning lint. I mean, I don't know what the fuzzies are actually made out of, but they look like lint balls. Look like something you pull out of a lint trap out of a washing machine. All right, what's gonna attack? Okay, I guess that question was answered in due time. You know, I've got more than one, so you're gonna get one too. Well, you know what they say about giving flowers to, you know, people that you meet. There was going to be a deeper joke in that, but I lost it. I apologize. Oh, thank you. I'm gonna definitely save that. I mean, assuming there are fuzzies in the other section. But yeah, actually, just speaking of which, this kind of is another example of why, as much as I love this game, it is a bit derivative of the first game. Because again, you go to a town with Koopas, and you go to a tunnel, you know, you go to a place to do a thing, and you fight. You go to a place that's kind of to the right of the town, and you fight Fuzzy. Oops. Again, it doesn't ruin the game, nor do I think it necessarily makes the game all that, like, unoriginal or anything, but it is still something that does bear pointing out and acknowledging. Like, again, if we're going to acknowledge the game's shortcomings, it is something that I do have to acknowledge it could have been a bit more original on. Now, again, thankfully, the majority of the levels in this game are definitely super original. So The lack of originality really only factors into these first 2 levels and sort of the... Oh, here we go. Bingo! I mean, it's a shame that I had full special gauge. It would have been nice if I'd gotten the healing one, but okay. Then, like I said, okay, actually, it didn't fill the theater to max capacity. Just, it filled it up quite a bit. Oh yeah, so if I remember correctly, your theater increases in size. It's either based on level or based on milestone progression. I don't remember which one off the top of my head. So it starts at 50. I think it can go all the way up to 200. I know it can at least get to 150. Yeah, I know. It might be weird to level that up right now since I don't have more badges to equip, but like I said, I'm kind of just... I want to upgrade it preemptively. That's interesting. That's very interesting that I got a... Because I really seem to remember the audience members held over a little more in between missions. Like, so it's interesting to me I'm back down to 22. Because I just seem to remember in the past, you know, after getting the whole bingo, I would hold on to some of those audience members for a little longer than that. Again, not that it's that big a deal, especially since... once I upgrade my theater, I'll be so many people, I'll be able to rank the special points in so quickly. Not a problem, just an interesting thing that I noticed. Now, I don't remember if like the stage quality itself upgrades as it gets bigger. I kind of hope it does, because that's sort of a visual in my memory that I think would be cool, but like I said, I don't remember if it actually does. But it'd be also kind of cool if they made that be a thing in the remake. Which, by the way, so far, unlike the remake of Tales of Symphonia for the Switch, which Tales of Symphonia is my absolute favorite game of all time, so far I can absolutely 100% recommend this game. So it's like, if you like simple RPGs... this game is a must. It is one of the best games ever made. Like, it was so... I loved it when I played it as a kid. It is just as good. Honestly, if not better. Like, so far, the improvements to this game are so good. Like, I'm honestly almost preferring this to the original GameCube release. Like I said, let me actually get through the first chapter before I really commit to that mindset, but I could recommend Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door anytime, any day. But, oh man. Uh-oh. I definitely should have saved. Probably should have saved a Fire Flower for this. That should have been so hard. I'm usually better at this one. I'm usually better at that. This might be a waste, but I'm going to try it anyway. Okay, that's just one that goes in a row. Okay. Okay. Crap. It's the stars again. Better. may want to use a sweet treat, depending on how this fight continues to go. Okay, you know what? Let's see if this will take care of them. No. Shit. I botched that pretty bad. Yeah, I should be able to get him though just by jumping on him, so I think we'll be okay. Yeah, that's right, because they run away once the leader goes down. That was close though. You know that the golden fuzz. Okay, yes, it looks like a jungle fuzzy from the first game. You know, I really like how they achieve. Oh. Yep. Yep. Oh, interesting. That's interesting. So, it's called... That is very interesting. Because it was called a Mailbox SP because... it was meant to be an homage to the Game Boy Advance SD or SP or whatever it was called. Or the DS or whatever. Like I said, I know I said it was the DS, but I kind of just picked up on the pun. Because, again, in the old game, in the original game, when you check your email, Mario would pull out a DS or a Game Boy or whatever and actually check his email. Looks like they're not doing that anymore. Jefferson Snarky? Hey, how's it going? Welcome. Shut you. Okay. But, yeah, I can kind of see that maybe they are not maybe they're not having you pull it out just to kind of streamline it. Because, you know, in the old game, you'd have to, like, watch the animation of you pulling it out. So maybe, like, you know what? Let's just save the player's time and just not do that. Don't know. I don't know. I don't know, it's kind of like it was why it was kind of equally fun to see like the Luigi pull out a Game Boy Color in the Luigi's Mansion. It's like, okay, yeah, it saves time not actually having to pull that out, but there's also a certain charm to it, so I can't say I love or hate its exclusion from this game. Then again, it probably was also since, you know, the DS has not been the go-to handheld console in over 5 years at this point. There's not a convenient flip screen electronic they could have Mario whip out for the animation, you know? So, I kind of get it. It is so strange to me, in a sense. Again, as someone who, you know, grew up with the GameCube and it being my favorite console, now just knowing that because the Switch is a hybrid, you know, home console and handheld, there's never going to be any interesting ways of hooking up your Nintendo handheld system to your home console for interesting compatibility like there was, like with the GameCube in particular. You could hook your Game Boy up and use it as a controller for games like Final Fantasy Chronicles, or using it to gain access to the secret island in the first Animal Crossing game. Or heck, even like with the Wii, it was less common, but you could actually hook your DS up wirelessly to your Wii and unlock certain functions based on the game. Because like there was a sort of spiritual sequel to Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles that was released on the DS, but they also released, it's basically the same game, but they released it on the Wii. So you could, you know, connect the Wii version to the GameCube, not the GameCube, the DS version and do multiplayer that way. I don't really know a ton about it. I rented it once. I thought it was boring as hell and never looked into it again. I mean, all I know is that Crystal Chronicles was one of those fantastic multiplayer games that Square never was able to recapture in any way, shape, or form. Because it's like, I feel they tried with the game I just mentioned. They tried with, what's it called? Final Fantasy Frontier? Shoot. I don't remember what it was called, but it was a Final Fantasy game on the 3DS that you could play multiplayer with different people. And they were marketing it okay, I don't know if they were marketing it as a spiritual sequel to Crystal Chronicles or if it's just something that the fans dubbed. I just remember it was such a big deal that Abby, me, Sunshine, and Jess all, like, we pre-ordered a special 4 bundle games. We could each get one. And we were planning, like, this big, we were going to record the audio of us playing the game. And we were going to turn it into, like, some type of animation, basically, for the channel. And when I say animation, I mean more like animatic with, like, still images. Kind of what we were doing for Flashback. But, honestly, we were just so blown away with how underwhelming the game was. We never went through with that because we just didn't see the point. Because it just was not that impressive of a game. It's like me and Jesse beat the game just on our own time, but Sunshine and I don't know if Sunshine did, but I know Abby just put the game down and never played it again. I mean, hell, even the actual remake of Crystal Chronicles is a disappointment in my humble opinion. Because it took away local multiplayer when that was the primary appeal of Crystal Chronicles in my humble opinion. Oh yeah, by the way, if Final Fantasy does end up winning the Edgelord poll, the remake of Crystal Chronicles... So, if you go to the poll, both the Pokemon game and the Final Fantasy game are to be determined. So one of the things I'm going to poll you guys on, if either those win, will be, okay, which Final Fantasy game or Pokemon game do you want Edgelord to go through? So, the remake of Crystal Chronicles is going to be one of the games that I might take Edgelord through. Mostly because that's one I have wanted to take Edgelord through for a while. Plus, since it will be the remake, even though it's not as good, it does have online multiplayer. So, I will leave the door open for anyone who wants to join in while I'm live streaming Edgelord and play the levels with them. But yeah, the other... So, there are 4 games that I might do, just since we're talking about it, that I might do if Final Fantasy wins. It's either going to be Crystal Chronicles or Final Fantasy 1, 3, or 5. So the reason I'm including 1 and 3 is because those are the ones that... No, hold on. I'm trying to see if there's a way for me to just, like, quickly check my health. Do I need to... No, I don't need to. I don't need to rest at the end. So it's like 1 and 3, and specifically the Pixel remasters, because those are what I got. / those are what I can stream. He's worked up the guts. I've always loved that Mario reaction. but like, because 1 and 3, there's like basically 4 blank slate characters, so I can, you know, name any one of them as edgelord. And then 5, yeah, you can rename. Yes, technically 5 has a named protagonist, but in my opinion, Barst is such a basic character, I can kind of justify them being edgelord. Plus, since the main villain of 5 is a tree, and edgelord is afraid of trees, it's just too funny for me to not do with that one. So, yeah. Yeah. I know, Muffin. This game is so pretty. Like, and don't get me wrong, the original GameCube version looked amazing as well, but this game is just, it's so good. Oh my god, I love it so much.
It's just so good.
Yeah, you definitely, like I said, Koops in many respects functions combat-wise similar to Kooper from the first game, but they do their best to get more utility out of the shell shot and whatnot. So, Koopy Koos, Koop's girlfriend. You know, I doubt this highly, but I kind of wish that they'd redo the end credits of this game so it was a parade just like the first game, because someone like Koops deserves a parade for just everything he goes through, you know? But honestly, I doubt they're going to completely redo the end credits. I mean, don't get me wrong, the end credits of this game was good. It's just, I will stand by. It's a hill that I will die on, and it's an opinion I will never change.
Oh, yeah.
The first Paper Mario game has the best end credits I have ever seen in a video game. Again, the only other one getting close to it is Super Mario RPG, because it's very clear that the first Paper Mario took inspiration from Super Mario RPG. And I do mean that in a complimentary way. Okay, yeah, this was something that I do remember they actually said was upgrade they added for ease of life convenience. Because in the original game, you had to go into the menu. Like, yeah, there's a shortcut on the D-pad to swap your characters. But in the first Paper Mario game, there just was a quick swap mechanic. So they're like, so the lack of it in the sequel was something people did complain about back in the day, myself included. So including the partner ring is a way for them to address those concerns. And again, I think it's a good idea, and it's handled well. And yeah, you can do this with Kooper as well, but it is nice with both, you know, the Bob-omb and the Koopa characters. You can actually use them to engage enemies in combat, and especially if you use the Bob-omb, you're able to kick off the fight with a more powerful attack. At least you could in the first game. So it's like one thing I do / don't like about the Bob-omb in this game compared to Bomb Betty in the first game is in the first game, Bomb Betty's basic attack was she'd body slam the enemies. Which, I mean, not in and of itself a problem, if you know what I mean. Oh yeah, I forgot. I upgraded my badge power. Dum-dum. But the downside with it is that if you wanted an attack from Bomb Betty that wouldn't get her hurt from spikes or burns, you had to spend flower power. The trade-off is that if you used her if you used her bomb ability to initiate combat, you would get off a more powerful starting attack, if that makes sense. Meaning that Bombetti was such an overly powered way to start combat in the first game. But in this game, they, smartly so, made the Bob-omb's default attack being they explode. So it does mean that Bobberty in this game, yeah, again, I don't feel bad like spoiling character names since this game, while a remake, while this remake is new, it's a remake of a 20-year-old game. Shell guy looks super chill. Is he just constantly questioning everything? His second eye is tired. The latter. Koops is he's very different than like the Koopa from the first game. He's a nervous boy. Like, he had to work up so much courage just to ask to come with you. He's shy, he's insecure, and yeah. And he's a cinnamon mug. And I will literally kill everyone in this room and then me if something happened to him. It's broken free from its shell. Oh, just random question for the audience. Just since, I've been talking about, voting on the edgelord poll. Even though I never actually got to play it for the channel due to issues, one of edgelord's lives was, I still considered, like, the 5 minutes edgelord spent in the game Jump Force as canonical to edgelord's cycle of reincarnation. And so as in my head canon, it does mean that edgelord learned how to become a Shinigami from Ichigo, learned how to use ninjutsu from Naruto, and since Yu-Gi-Oh characters were in the game, got their own dueling deck from Yu-Gi-Oh. Well, I've been kind of trying to decide what would be the best, like if edgelord, was actually in Yu-Gi-Oh, what deck they would use. Would you guys be interested on voting on what deck I should ultimately make edgelord use? I mean, not that it's really gonna matter a ton, but I don't know. There are plenty of Yu-Gi-Oh simulator games, online that, I don't know, it might be fun to occasionally be like, hey, anyone who's into Yu-Gi-Oh, you want to log on and kick edgelord's ass or something like that? God damn it. Fair enough. One thing I can sadly say about this remake, though, is I don't like, honestly, the Switch controllers are not, at least in my opinion, are not as solidly built as GameCube controllers. So there has been some delays and bad inputs that I experience while playing games on my Switch versus, especially like this one, like playing games here versus when I played games back, or played this game. Like, you get what I'm saying. Because, like, just... Okay, fair enough. I know that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is definitely a my generation thing, mostly because Konami has made the game nearly impossible for new players to join. But, I don't know, it was just something that crossed my mind, and I like to give the audience some... Sorry, I'm just double-checking there's nothing else out here. I know, I just enjoy giving the audience some semblance of control over edgelord, since, I mean, edgelord would not exist at all had it not been for you guys. I mean, okay, yes, it would. They exist because of a stupid joke I made offhandedly, but you know what I mean. Had you guys not all just been like, okay, this is funny, and actually been like, yeah, if you live streamed as edgelord, we'd watch that shit, you know? Less nice. Okay, let's get back out in front since I've got the healing buff on now. You know what? Screw it, we're going again. That'll take 2 out in 1 fight. Or, not 1 fight, in 1 round. Excellent. You know, I really do have to give Nintendo or whoever was in charge of this remake credit. I'm assuming it was still Intelligent System. Despite the controller issues I brought up earlier, this still feels like Thousand Year Door. Like, despite the controller issues, the inputs are there. It feels like I have not spent any time away from this game playing this now. And that's always an issue you're going to potentially face when you have to remake a game from the ground up, especially so many years after the fact. Oh, thanks. That's a lot of applause emojis, and I appreciate it. Because, yeah, that's just a big problem I have with the Tales of Symphonia HD remake, is that just due to the frame rate issues, it doesn't always feel like I'm still playing Tales of Symphonia, or at least I'm not playing the Tales of Symphonia I grew up with as a kid. Because, again, I still enjoyed my time with the Tales of Symphonia remake, but that frame rate is a joke. And I know the frame rate is not always bad in Tales of Symphonia's HD remaster, but it's bad enough, especially in the Fire Temple, that it is just vomit-inducing. It's good that you want to allow some control over edgelord, but honestly, at this point, I've completely lost basically everything of what I've said to edgelord. I still find it really fun to play in chat. You know, that's fair. That is very fair. Alright, we're going to get the HP upgrade. It's good to level up across the board. Yeah, you know, it's kind of going back to what I was saying about the differences, how, like, what's it called? Yeah, what? The differences between this game and Super Mario RPG, how Super Mario RPG had more to traditional leveling up, but this game uses the star points, and how I'm like, I don't really know which one, if either I prefer. Where was I going with that? Where was I going with that? You know, I like the fact that there are different, like, they're both still on their back, but because the first one's dizzy, his glasses are falling off. That's a detail they didn't technically need to do for this game, but they did it. And I like it. But yeah, just... I already have a hard time recommending Tales of Symphonia to most people just because of its age. And because it was trying to be more ambitious than, say, Thousand Year Door, it's harder for, you know, someone who's never played it to go and get the most out of it. But I am grateful that Tales of Symphonia does still get remade. It is still in the public mind because, well, it's not the most amazing game that had ever been made like I thought it was when it was young. It's got great messages, great characters, and it's got a great story. It's just a shame about that frame rate. It was kind of, so I made an Instagram post, you know, after I got my hands on this game. It's like, so this game, Tales of Symphonia and Biomutant, are now all available on the Switch, meaning my 3 favorite games are all on the Nintendo Switch. And I'm like, it's beautiful. My holy trinity of favorite games are on one console. Now remake Custom Robo, you cowards. Like, honestly, I know Custom Robo is anything all that special. It's a very basic robot battling game. I could see what you mean. Like, I'm going to play the Earthbound Such Mother series, and my God, the first game looks so old. I know what you mean. Yeah, you should read it. But Custom Robo is a series that really deserves another lease on life. Because, like, for those who are not aware, Custom Robo is a series that was almost exclusively released in Japan. Wait, what? Frog. Their weakness... Because in the original game, it was a cricket. They're changing it to frog? Oh yeah, so does anyone remember Colorado from the first game? So, so we just found Colorado's dad's corpse. This isn't Coops's, That is an enjoyably dark twist, you know? I think it's funny. Oh, I hate fighting dry bones. No? Okay. Yeah. But, that's interesting. Frogs instead of crickets. Oh, yeah. I know. Like, it's one of those things that playing through it, I'm like, is this what was said in the original game, or has it been altered? Because I know for a fact they do alter... There is a line of dialogue in this game that has been altered, specifically to main... Because, like, for those who don't know, the character Vivian, in the original Japanese version, as well as a few versions in other countries in the world, Vivian is a trans woman. And a big part of the reason why Vivian is bullied by her sisters, I mean, they were bullying her in general, but they bully her more because she's trans. But in the English, or at least, let me phrase it, the American release of the original Thousand Year Door, they removed her being trans, and instead it was just kind of your atypical Cinderella situations where they were bullying her because they didn't like her or whatever. But I've seen a screenshot. Vivian's trans again in the remake, which I'm so happy about. But given that they changed the dialogue from the original English release to reflect her being restored, anytime I just read any dialogue in this game, like, is that what it said in the original American release, or is this also new? I don't know. It's bugging me because I want to know, but it's also kind of exciting because it's like, oh, how much of this game that I know pretty well is like new. So it's like, it really, this again, it's a remake of my second favorite game of all time, but at the same time, there's like just some, you know, excitement and mystery behind. It's like, oh, what am I gonna see next? Right. Gotta stick with the Hamar and the Xiao. Okay. So it looks like it's not doing, so maybe it's other dry bones that will do this, but I think like in the first game, fighting dry bones were some of the worst in the game because they had a very nasty habit of they'd only stay down for like 2 turns. So you had to wipe the board within a turn or 2, or they'd just get right back up and keep fighting. Part of me thinks you could potentially kill them off permanently if you hit them with a Bob-omb. I could be completely wrong about that and be remembering it incorrectly, but... Okay. Right. I can't do anything about that as of yet. Begone, thoughts? Right. I've got the castle key. The red one. It is red with the blood of angry men. Anything else over here? Nope, not over here. A person I know told me that, fun fact just now, fun fact today of the days when Star Wars Episode 4 and 6 were released in theaters, May 25th, 1977, 19... Oh, really? That is fun. That is a fun fact. I like that. I still can't get over the fact that next year, The Force Awakens is going to be 10 years old. Like, it does not feel like it's been 10 years since those films came out. And it really makes me... I'm seeing so many things that are making me feel so fucking old, but... It's like, there are so many posts, it's like, oh, here's what 20 years ago... Or here's, like, what Pokemon... This is what you think Pokemon looked like 10 years ago, or 20 years ago. Here's what it actually looked like 20 years ago. And so it'll often be like, oh, here's what you think 10 years ago. Like, the 20 years ago, it shows, you know, the original Pokemon sprites. But it's like, but 20 years ago was actually... And then it shows, like, the Game Boy Advance era games. I'm like, stop. Actually, again, speaking of Pokemon, I am very curious to see when I play more Pokemon games as Edgelord, which starters people will vote on. Or hell, so if Pokemon does win this particular poll, there will be, it'll be an option between deciding whether or not to play, Edgelord should go play through Shining Pearl. Because Abby and I thought, you know what, since Legend of Arceus is technically a prequel, well, I mean, it takes place in the Sinnoh region in ancient times, it'd make the most sense if we then take, or at least it might be the funniest, to take Edgelord through a Sinnoh game next. I find it kind of fun and interesting. It's scary, but it's also kind of cool seeing the difference. Maybe I just got a bit more positive outlook when it comes to getting older. Yeah, maybe. Hey, thanks for being here, Magic Energy Crystal. Yeah, thanks for the conversation. Maybe I'll see you again sometime. Take care. Have a good rest of your day. What's what I'm looking for? But yeah, it's gonna be between Shining Pearl or Pokemon Snap. And if Pokemon Snaps wins, I'm actually gonna do both Pokemon Snap games back to back. Just because I think it would be kind of funny, since the main character from the first Pokemon Snap game shows up as an NPC in the second one. So I think it would kind of be another way to get a funny out-of-body experience. Sort of like what we did with Edgelord in the Xenoverse games. So... Plus, since both the Pokemon Snap games are short, I think it would be... Oh, thank you. I appreciate the bless you. I think it would be kind of a nice, quick... You know, just kind of a quick thing to do, and then move on to maybe other things people might be more interested in seeing, you know? Because, like, if Baldur's Gate or Final Fantasy wins the poll... Those are going to be some long streams. I don't mind, because, I mean, I kind of specifically was focusing on some slightly shorter games to take Edgelord through as of late, just to make up for just how long some of the past streams have been, you know? Or the past, how long it took me to beat certain games. Anyway, you get what I'm saying. So, yep, we got another one of these things, and oh man, I love these damn things. Yep, they all have the same thing. It's like, oh, if you can hear me, you must be the legendary hero. Okay, that's different, because I do remember in the original game, they all just double downed on the legendary hero thing. Oh, man. I love these things. Of just how evil they want themselves to be, like the evil wrapping paper with the jack-o'-lantern face. Yep, give me a curse. Curse me! Pour some sugar on me. Oh man, I still love the lightning bolt effect as compared to what it was originally. Okay, I like the whole ooh face he's doing right there. It's fun. I am, you moron. What do you think I am doing? Whatever. Whatever. Go have a biscuit with Trash Dragon, okay? That's all that really matters. You know, it's kind of cool. I think the vibe gives me a goofy evil vibe. It's supposed to. It, like, that's the thing, is this thing clearly thinks it's being, you know, the most evil thing in the world, but the curses he's giving us are actually just beneficial powers that'll let us beat the game. By the way, something that I think might be kind of fun to do for the channel is... Okay, nothing there is... So, Biomutant came out on the Switch a couple weeks ago. Or a week or two. Maybe it was last week. I don't remember. And I'm like, part of me is like, should I do another stream of Biomutant just since... That is so weird to hear this. I am so used to hearing the cricket noises. It's probably just because it's what I'm used to, a nostalgia bias and all that, but I'm like, I don't know. It feels wrong to not have the cricket noises, and I don't like it as much. But again, I don't think it's necessarily because it's a worse noise. It's just I've played the original Thousand Year Door so many times. It's just... It's weird not having the cricket noises. Wait, I need to back up track some more, because now that I can turn sideways, I can access more stuff. God, I love the music is so good, because I do think there's an option, you know, just where is it? Options. Oh, is there sound gallery? I've read there's an option to use the original GameCube soundtrack in case you prefer the older sounding stuff, but they went hard on this new music, and I appreciate it. I don't necessarily prefer it to the original, but, oh, it's good. Like I said, it's kind of cool. Oh, yeah, wait, I already read that one. But yeah, it's... No, I like this. I like this a lot. It kind of reminds me of what they did to the soundtrack with the Crash in Insane trilogy. Yes, I never played Crash as a kid, so I don't have any nostalgia for the music, but I have heard some side-by-sides of just how it was updated, and that's just kind of what it reminds me of. But yeah, I'm wondering why they changed, like, actually, hell, I'm wondering if it was a frog originally in the Japanese version, and it was only a cricket in the English release, and they added a new sound bit. Mainly because maybe Americans find crickets annoying? I don't know. Biomutant stream sounds cool. I think it was one of the first streams I actually joined. Also had a direct quote from "You'll keep trying to play the other games. We're just gonna keep playing but I just want to keep playing Biomutant." Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean there's some truth to that, and it's like, hey, like I was saying, it's like, hey, there's a Switch port. Let's stream it and kind of see how it fares up. That being said, I have kind of been playing Biomutant, the Switch port, on my free time, and I gotta be honest, the color balancing in the Switch port it's kind of bad. Like, the game is way too bright in certain points. Actually, I mean, speaking of, like, revisiting, you know, old games that I've played, but, like, with the new ports and whatnot, part of me is like, could I justify streaming Mass Effect again because the Legendary Edition came out a few years ago? And with that one, I'm like, I'm genuinely inclined to say no, because that's a very long time commitment to... Right, hammer. That is a long, long time commitment to stream all 3 Mass Effect games again. And I just... As much as I love Mass Effect, I feel the only other thing I could really do to mix things up from what I did in my first stream is maybe play Male Shepherd and Romance Tally and show off why she's my second favorite Mass Effect romance. But, other than that, like, I've thought about that one, and I'm genuinely inclined to not do that one again. but yeah. I also just think, like, if I did do another Biomutant stream, I would specifically have to play the race that looks like a raccoon. Because you know what they say, you either die the hero or live long enough to see yourself become Trash Dragon. Since, yeah, while I have incorporated elements from some of edgelord's other lives into my edgelord cosplay, such as, you know, wait a second. Oh, wait, no. So, I mentioned earlier in the stream there's a character named Ms. Mouse who I think can actually pickpocket items off enemies. Well, this is Ms. Mouse. She is a character I have very mixed feelings on. Because on the one hand, I like her design. Heck, I always kind of liked these mice creatures from both this game and the first game. The thing is, she is an optional secret companion. Like, if you just play through the game normally, you will not get her. Let's see. This comes from Reddit, so take it with a grain of salt. Hooktail now says his weakness is frogs instead of crickets, matching the original Japanese scripted game. Okay. So, okay, it is there trying to match the original Japanese script better than the American release. Honestly, that's the reason I'm okay with it. But the problem I have with it is, I always get kind of annoyed when you can miss companions, you know? Just because it's frustrating when they lock something that I consider, like, important and, dare I say, even a core part of the game behind missable content. But I digress. I don't think it's too bad. Like, getting her is not too bad at all if you know what you're supposed to do. Because if you know what you're supposed to do, she is really easy to get. Very minimal effort. The trade-off is... How do I put this? How do I put this? I'm very grateful. She's not one of the best She's not one of the best companions in terms of romance, or even necessarily abilities. So I am actually grateful they didn't lock the best companion out of a missable side quest. It's just by the same token, given that you have to go out of your way to recruit Miss Mouse via a side quest, I wish she was a little better than she actually is. So I am stuck in kind of a paradox. Should I just be happy that I didn't miss out? Because, like, in my first playthrough, I missed Miss Mouse because I actually didn't know about the... So in Roguesport, I don't have access to it yet, but I can probably get access to it now. There is a job board that you can interact with. At a certain point in the game, a quest will be posted on the job board from a mystery client. You have to do that quest to gain access to Miss Mouse. And it's a very easy quest to do in the grand scheme of things. So, getting her is not difficult. But it does involve a decent amount of backtracking. Hammer. I need to use the hammer. No, I'm out of offensive attacks. Oops. Yeah, Koops' timing is one that I've always... Well, there are a lot of companions I've always struggled to get their timing just right. at least to do like the double stylish moves. You know, I do not understand, from an internal logic perspective, why there are Koopas hanging out in Hooktail's castle. Because Hooktail's favorite food is Koopas. It would be like if there were Boo enemies in Tubba Blubba's castle in the first game. It's just... Can you really trust to work for someone whose favorite food is you? Because at that point, I'm like, I feel like you're not, you know, henchmen. You're, you know, the supplies for winter's hibernation. Again, the dry bones make sense because, you know, dry bones are, you know, dead Koopas. So, yeah, it makes perfect sense why there would be dry bones all over this place as henchmen and minions. I jolly well bugged it up that time, and didn't I? Bingo! Head out. Good luck and have fun. Hey, thanks for stopping by, Muffin. Always wonderful to have you. Have a good rest of thine day. I don't know how much longer I will be streaming, just due to it's getting later in the morning and I gotta go to my parents' house to take care of some chores that they're paying me to do while they're out of town. But I know I'm going to beat Hooktail for sure and do the Peach and Bowser segments before I sign off for the day. Oh yeah, so just like in the first game where there were Peach segments in between each level, in this game there are Peach and Bowser segments. You know, it's something I did actually find kind of interesting about, you know, again, after having played Super Mario RPG for the first time, is that there are so few games where Mario and Bowser actually team up together, you know? And honestly, I wouldn't necessarily want them to do it more because it makes the few games that do it less special. But it is still kind of interesting that more Paper Mario games in particular, just the other are like the Mario and the Luigi RPG series, didn't tap into that. Because, yeah, outside of... Yes, I get to play as Bowser in his own dedicated segments in this game, but he doesn't team up with Mario. But in, what's it called? Super Paper Mario, the second one, you do get to play as Bowser. Bowser does team up with Mario. Again, I don't really have... Okay. That pipe was not there originally. Like, that pipe is not there in the original game. Like, when you drop down to get that, you have to walk all the way back. It's not terrible, because this is not a giant dungeon, but it does waste your time if you're trying to get everything here. So just adding that in, I appreciate that. Like, I appreciate that a lot. It's like, again, I'm not a whiny little shit who needs everything handed to him because, you know, God forbid, I'm impatient or yada yada. But, you know, much like the Wind Waker HD remake, if you're going to remake a game one of the best things that you can do to make it better is pay attention to like the little complaints people had about the original game and smooth them out in the remake. Because yeah, like again, in Wind Waker, the HD remake, simply adding the fast travels, the fast sail. I mean, I already loved Wind Waker. Like, I know some people really hate it for a lot of different reasons, and the reasons are, in fact, valid. It was never an issue for me. Always loved the game. But by adding those faster options to trim down the fat that dragged the game out, took the game from, it's good, it's really good, to, oh my god, I love you. I am going to make love. I'm going to make love to the, you know, the disc ring. That was really crass, and I apologize. Because, like, one of the things that I was a little disappointed about in, like, the HD remake of Twilight Princess... Okay, well, the first problem I have with the HD remake of Twilight Princess is that... So, Wind Waker and Twilight Princess both got HD remakes on the Wii U. It kind of made sense for Wind Waker because it was a few consoles removed at that point. But the HD remake of Twilight Princess, it came out one console after the original. And not just that, as many people have said, the Wii U wasn't... I mean, yes, it was more powerful than the standard Wii, but not powerful enough to really make a super duper noticeable difference from a graphic standpoint, you know? So, in some ways, it seemed kind of odd that it got an HD remake so soon. And quite frankly, the few, like, major changes that the game got were more stuff like it added, like, the stamps you could collect, that you could add to the letters that you could send, or the messages you could send it via the Weverse, or the Me Chat, or whatever that... Well, that's long gone anyway, so... Outside of not having to use the questionable motion controls, there wasn't that much of an improvement on the Twilight Princess HD remake. Like, there wasn't enough ease of life improvements added to the game, like again there was in like this game, or Ocarina, or not Ocarina of Time, albeit there was some good improvements to the Ocarina of Time remake on the 3DS, and heck, some other good ones in the Majora's Mask one too, but as there was the Wind Waker one. I think probably my biggest regret with the Ocarina of Time remake is that, well, the Ocarina of Time remake and the Majora's Mask remake were on handhelds. They weren't on home consoles, and it would have been really nice if they had been on home console, because it severely limits my ability to Now again, we downloaded the original Majora's Mask onto our Wii U, so if we ever wanted to do Majora's Mask for the channel, we have the ability to do so. And Ocarina of Time is available on the Switch's N64 Virtual Console. So we have access to that there. I mean, we haven't paid for the service to access the N64, but it's not that big a deal to gain access to it. But yeah, it would have been nice if those were released on home consoles. Because, yeah, I have such mixed feelings about the 3D remakes on the 3DS of those two games, because it's not that I think they're bad by any stretch of the imagination. It's just the originals are, some of those are just games that I hold so close to my heart. It's strange playing games that are even a little different, because I've played through Ocarina of Time a lot. Not as much as this game, not as much as Symphonia, I mean, but I have played through Ocarina of Time more than I have, say, Wind Waker, which I do consider to be... I consider Wind Waker to be my favorite 3D Zelda game. But I have played through Ocarina more, because I think Ocarina is better. Like, I will stand by... Like, amusingly, this was something that Flaze and I... So, Flaze is live streaming Ocarina of Time at the time of the... Well, okay, not literally... Like, she's not live streaming it right now, but one of the games that she is currently live streaming on her Twitch channel is Ocarina of Time. And something the two of us actually do disagree with, because it's something I brought up on her live stream, is that while Ocarina of Time is not my favorite Zelda game, I do consider it to be the best. Now, I don't know what she considers to be the best, but yeah, it is a point that we disagree on. Because yeah, my favorite Zelda game, it will always be Ages and Seasons. My favorite 3D Zelda game will always be Wind Waker. But I don't think there ever has been or ever will be a Zelda game as good as Ocarina. Because A, the game still holds up really well. B, the game was beyond revolutionary when it first came out. C, the game looked breathtaking when it first came out. Yes, the graphics don't hold up as well now. Like, again, amusingly, like, this is something I find really amusing, is when Wind Waker, like, when Ocarina of Time came out, it blew people away because of how next-gen it was at the time. But then when Wind Waker was made, they decided, instead of to go for as realistic as they could at the time, they were going to go for much prettier, stylized, bright, and colorful graphics, which people threw a fit about. So when they made Twilight Princess, they swung the opposite direction of Wind Waker and tried to do something more akin to Ocarina, with the as most realistic graphics as they could get at the time. Problem is, in my opinion, the game suffered because of it. Because it's like, it may have looked good now, but it doesn't hold up as, like, I think the original Wind Waker holds up way better in terms of how it looks compared to the original Twilight Princess. Like, dare I say, Twilight Princess has such a muted color palette because of that. I think it's probably the most boring to look at out of all the Zelda games. I should have had Goombella out first so I could have tattled Hooktail. Oh well. Because, yeah, I know, like, a lot of people consider Skyward Sword to be their favorite or consider it to be the best. I'm not saying this just to be a contrarian because it was different, but honestly, I think Skyward Sword will always be my least favorite 3D Zelda game of all time because I really just think the game is bad. It has good things in it, like, I know a lot of people love it because they think Groose is the best, you know, Zelda character. I can't comment. I didn't get far enough in the game for Groose to develop as a character. But I'm like, if that's the reason, you know, that's fair. I have had games where I'm willing to let go things that annoy me if it's got good character. But, and again, I hate to be a Zelda elitist, but I'm like, I can't help but feel it's a bad game because it abandoned a lot of things that made Zelda good and only focused on one aspect of Zelda, the puzzles. Because it took away a lot of other good things like fun exploration and other things. Sorry, one second. I need to check this. Okay, good. Sorry, someone was replying to a post that I made about Trash Dragon in a Discord server. And it's like, okay, good, someone got the joke I was making. Because it was a AI-generated picture of Trash Dragon in a soup aisle of a grocery store. And with the caption, I'm at soup. And someone finally replied, "Why are you buying clothes at the soup store?" Because, yeah, if you remember, the letter from Colorado's dad warned us that mentioned that Hooktail, when backed into a corner, would try something. So remember that I said Hooktail interacts with the audience? Yeah. I like that. I actually really like that. I'm out of flower power. And, sorry, kind of going back to Zelda real quick. A lot of people are like, well, what are your thoughts on Breath of the Wild? I'm like, honestly, I think Breath of the Wild is one of the most okay games I have ever played. I don't think it's particularly amazing. Like, it's a good game, don't get me wrong, but shit. I don't think it's all that in a bag of chips. Like, quite frankly, again, comparing it to Ocarina of Time here, again, Ocarina of Time was revolutionary when it first came out. Breath of the Wild, to me, felt... I mean, other than, like, it did some cool stuff, like, again, being able to climb the side of mountains, that was awesome. And I greatly appreciate that. But other than that, I felt Breath of the Wild was actually a bit behind the curve when it came to open world games. Because, like, for example, most Elder Scrolls games, which are some of the biggest open world games on the market, you level up just by playing the damn game. I hated the fact that, you know, Ocarina or Breath of the Wild, you had to, you know, go to these specific dungeons, get crap, and then travel to a specific place to level up. It slowed progression down, and I didn't like it. Also, because it had a lack of, like, oh, hello, Alex is Yella. How are you? Welcome to the remake of Thousand Year Door. We just beat the first boss. And it's a miracle. Again, I do find it interesting because, as I mentioned earlier, it's a shame that Koops doesn't have a unique shell color. He's just a green Koopa. I mean, you could argue they do that just to, oh, it's good to hear you're good. And you could say that they did that to really emphasize that Koops is meant to be more of an everyman, which, you know, fair enough. That's the reason. I can't argue with that logic at all. But I do find it interesting that Koops' dad does have a blue shell, and Koops doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't really matter, but I don't know, just something I kind of found interesting. Also, I'm impressed that you were able... You know what? I don't even want to know what you were eating in there. I think that part of my soul doesn't need to be spoiled. Oh, those crystal stars look good. Oh, they look really, really good. Oh. That music. See, I do find it kind of interesting that this game, you don't actually really learn what happens to Peach until right now. It's not that's not a complaint. It's just it's interesting. I will say I don't like the Peach segments in this game as much as I did the first one. It's not that I think they're bad by any means, but I don't know. They're just not as memorable to me. Maybe it's just because she's no longer interacting with Bowser in any way, shape, or form. Because Bowser's just a more fun villain than these guys. Not that I think these guys are bad villains. They're definitely more intimidating than Bowser. It's just I find them a hair more forgettable as a result. I mean, I don't know why this one is as bad if they know who Mario is. I mean, he's famous enough they probably could have figured out who he was anyway. I mean, I guess now they know they can potentially use you for leverage, but it's not like they do that in the game, so they clearly aren't smart enough to think of that. What an idiot. The shadow sirens. Vivian! I really like this music that's playing. I like the effect of them going into their shadows. Yeah, I know so many people, so many pervs growing up who lost their mind at this scene. It's like, oh, Peach is not wearing any clothing. It's like, yeah, we don't see anything, but this was kind of really pre-internet in some ways. You know, I just realized the hair, how she styles her hair here, it kind of reminds me of the haircut they gave her in Princess Peach Showtime. Also, just magically, her hair is back to this way with no explanation. So, if anyone who watched my first game stream would know that Peach, you know, had the companion of Twink that she would interact with, find information, and send Twink to inform Mario of the information she learned. This is her companion in this game. And I don't know how I feel about this character. So the if it wasn't obvious, the computer got hot and bothered by Peach. Look, I have nothing against the idea of a robot gaining sentience and experiencing love or whatever, but just the way it's presented in this game has always squeaked me out a hair. I don't know. It's basically, it's like, hey, help me fall in love with you, and I'll help you help Mario. I don't know. I don't know. This just is one part of the game I do feel is lacking. Like, this character, I really don't like the Peach missions in this game as much as I did in the first one. This game is delectable. Oh, he moves faster than he did in the old game.
I thought he moved this fast.
I mean, I know he moved this fast in like the 2D platforming segments, but I remember it took fucking forever to get to the back of the room originally. Oh, also, they have changed a lot of the dialogue to match the original Japanese.
They've redubbed it.
Because like
Translated it.
I mean, heck, for example, something that I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Is that if you remember in the first dungeon against Hooktail, you needed to find a badge that made your hammer sound like a cricket because they didn't like the way that sounded.
Yeah.
It's a frog because it was a frog in the original Japanese.
Why'd they change that?
I don't know. Maybe it's because America felt the noise of crickets were more annoying than frogs.
Yes. I mean, crickets are more common here.
Yeah, but the explanation was that Hooktail ate a frog and got food poisoning from it. So just hearing a frog just reminds them of being nauseous.
Oh,
Also,
we got rid of that because that's a French dish. Americans hate the French.
maybe. By the way,
Or at least that's the joke.
was
I think.
Hooktail female in the original game? mean,
No,
I don't-
I don't think so.
Yeah, Hooktail was a woman.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember them specifying if Hooktail's gender in the original, but
Did you stream the GameCube one?
I couldn't. I started streaming the first one on the Wii U with every intention of doing Thousand Year Door,
Okay.
but then our hardware gave out, so yeah. Because what's it called? I had planned on doing like a Paper Mario stream marathon, which for the record, I'm going to be doing. Like once I'm done with this, excuse me, I'm going to stream Super Paper Mario, then Color Splash, then Origami King.
No, we're not doing Sticker Star.
Mostly because A, I don't own it, and B, I don't have a way to stream it.
But that is the worst one.
I've been told. Sorry, I am trying to not dunk on that one because I've never played it.
I like to grab it from my sister.
Yeah.
You can, more to yourself.
Yeah. Still can't stream it though. We don't have the hardware to stream off the DS. And we've not had the most success with emulators, so that's not an option either. But yeah, it's one of those, it's like I've dunked on Sticker Star in the past just because I've heard it's bad. I'm like, I really should stop taking the piss on something I haven't experienced for myself.
Fair.
So it's like I'm not going to do that anymore. I will say that it is definitely, because this is something I do know, it was the one that officially abandoned companion characters, because even Super Paper Mario had companion characters, just they're the most unique looking ones in the franchise. And it is the one that officially introduced the overworld map like an old Mario game instead of just a world to explore. And it was the one that is like you needed stickers to even fight rather than just having set attacks. Like those are things that I know definitively about the game, and I think they're bad because there were some of my least favorite parts of Color Splash. But I could get past them in Color Splash. So it's like I really need to actually play Sticker Star to find out if it is as big of a deal breaker as my brain, as I would assume it would be, So for that reason, I need to stop just taking the piss on it until I try it for myself. Why? What's up?
I just was looking at the changes.
Mm-hmm.
Which we trying to see, like, oh, do they mention the translation versions? Not really.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll have to go look at the wiki, maybe.
Yeah.
But I guess they've changed the casino a little bit. At least the game's in there.
I never touched the casino
cool.
since I can't comment.
Neither did I, but...
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway.
Here we go.
Actually, do you want to read off the changes before I end the stream?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to need to end my stream here because Abby and we've got some stuff we need to do. Maybe this is the biggest maybe in the universe. I might stream again later today because I really want to keep playing this game. If not, I do plan on streaming Monday morning because I do have Monday morning off because it's a holiday here in the US. God damn, I love this game so much. And the remake is not disappointing in any way, shape, or form. But thank you for joining me. There is a link in the description for our Discord and our Twitter. Like I said, at the time of the stream, you have less than 10 hours at this point to make your decision on the current edgelord poll. Once that's finalized, depending on what it is, there might be some more polls coming up to decide that. Feel free to join me tomorrow. I'll be streaming some edgelord stuff then. And yeah, I'm not sure when, but I will see you guys then. Have a good rest of your day, and I can't wait to get back to this one.